What are you going to do, I guess, going into your marriage to, I don't know, maintain the health of that relationship? Like, what have you learned from all of these conversations you've had with like these great minds and just your reading on your free time?
Wow, that is a good question. I'm gonna have to put my money where my mouth is somehow now. So I think that I think communication. I've got really good at communicating, like obviously, and I'm also perfectly fine at being open and honest with the whoever it is that I'm talking to, whether that be over the internet or whether that be in a relationship. I honestly think that that will get me pretty far. Maybe that's hopeful delusion, but just being able to understand the texture of your own mind. And also, as well, here's something that no one really ever talks about. Everyone says, like, you've got to love yourself first before you can let somebody else love you. But nobody ever actually understands what they mean by that. No one
Hmm.
ever actually is prepared to put their money where their mouth is and commit to, okay, so what you're saying is you need to sort all of your shit before you can get into a relationship with somebody else that you want to last long term. Or you need to sort most of your shit to be in a place where that person is going to be made better by your existence, not worse.
Hmm.
And like, Lord knows, I've made girls' existences worse by being in their lives throughout my 20s because I was a dick.
Hmm.
Like, I treated them badly. And the same goes for them with me.
Hmm.
Whereas now, I can't wait to get hold of whatever the family is that I'm going to start because I know that I've got capacity and I've sorted through most of the stuff that I need to sort through. And I have all of this latent potential to bring up some beautiful, emotionally intelligent, well rounded, comfortable, confident, loved children. Like, I know that I can do that. And I know that I can do that with a wife as well. And I can't wait to make her into whatever it is that she wants to be, to help her go on her path to become the best version that she can
Hmm.
be. And everybody likes the idea of that. Like, in a tweet, it sounds fantastic. Like, sort yourself out and then you can let someone else love you. Like, that's one of those tweets that goes viral. But when it comes down to, okay, like, are you prepared to spend a decade or 5 years of constant introspective work on your own, constantly assessing all of the really disgusting, terrible parts of yourself, all of the embarrassing and weird and unaligned elements that you've brought through from childhood or from your genetics or from the way that your parents dealt with you or from whatever it might be, your past traumas. Like, are you actually prepared to do that? And then I think something that is probably a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation to have there is like, well, okay, well, if I've done that work and you haven't,
Hmm.
I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Like, I'm not here to fix somebody else. I'm here to find somebody else who's fixed themselves and is prepared to be in a relationship with me
Hmm.
in that way. And we can continue to fix each other as we go through. But yeah, people match up in ways where hopefully their level of sort of self development and growth is, you know, come to a similar sort of
Hmm.
waterline. And yeah, I think communication is going to be key. Finding somebody that's growth
Hmm.
minded and understanding what it is that you actually want from a partner. Like, so many of the things I spoke to Dr. Taylor Burrows, who's a relationship counselor. She worked in Florida for years and years, so she has seen all manner of extreme breakups and makeups and stuff like that. And she said that incompatibility between people's values and schedules are the two most common reasons that people break up. It's like, if you're into the
Hmm.
gym, falling in love with someone who loves movies and art might be a bad place to start. But because we have the Disney Pixar world of love can conquer all and Romeo and Juliet, you can be from different places, different times, different values, different families, different cultures. It doesn't matter because if you love each other, that will be fine. It's like, all right, you tell me if love is going to get past the fact that fundamentally the things that you want to do with your spare time are different 10 years deep into a relationship.
Hmm.
And then think about how much easier it would be if the things that you want to do fundamentally are the same.
Hmm.
Like, there's practical implications here that people need to get past. So finding someone whose schedule aligns with yours. If you work nights and they work shifts, it's not going to be a very functional relationship. If they love the gym and you love comic books, you might have a little bit of difficulty there. So Mark Manson has this fantastic piece of advice. He says, what is the sort of person that you want to attract and where do they exist? So you think, okay, I really want to try and find a girl who does X, who's into cycling. Okay, where would a girl that does cycling go? Oh, well, maybe she'd join a local cycling club. Okay, well, go there. Like, because they'll probably be there. And you just continue to roll that forward. I think that finding compatibility with schedule, with values, and with life plan as well. Like as soon as you've settled down with someone, especially if you're thinking this is someone I want to be with for the rest of my life, you need to have a couple of conversations. Like, do you want to have kids? Because if they do and you don't, or vice versa, like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. Like that. So all of these things, but what the basis for all of this stuff comes from good
Mm-hmm.
communication, not stepping into the discussion with an agenda or trying to make the other person feel stupid or trying to get one over on them. Just look, here's a thing that I want to know. I genuinely want to know because you are an important person in my life and I would like you to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me. And then the chips can kind of fall where they may after that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's tough. A lot of people, I know so many people that avoid that really hard conversation with their partner. Um, they don't want to have that conversation with themselves as to what their values are, whether it's to have kids or to not have kids, or where they want to be in 5 years, because it's scary once you make that decision. And maybe it's not the same as the person you're dating, then that means that relationship is over. So rather than find out that conclusion, you just kind of keep it going a little longer and a little longer until you realize like the decision's going to end up being made for you. um, I never understood, because for me, I like value time so much. I'm like a little bit of a perfectionist, so, and I love to plan ahead. It's actually something I'm trying to not do as much. I'm trying to be more present, but I would spend way more time in 5 years from now or 10 years from now than I would in today. So I'd be like, well, where do you see yourself in 10 years? How many kids do you want? Where do you want to live? All of these things. And a lot of people couldn't take it. But I think that that was a great filtration system back when I was dating, because it showed me who was serious and who wasn't serious and who was just wasting my time. So I know like a lot of people thought it was neurotic, especially when you're in your 20s, but to me it was really important. Um, and again, as someone who believes in, fate to a really great extent, I think anyone that's supposed to be in your life is going to be there. So you shouldn't be, scared or ashamed to say what you want out of a relationship.
I have a buddy who always buys, he's done quite well for himself and he always buys stuff. And he has this little catchphrase where he says, future Andrew will pay for it. And his point is that he has so much faith in his ability in the future that he's prepared to put his money on the line in the now.
Hmm.
And I think that that can kind of be the same if you have the faith that you do. If you think that things are going to work out, you can unapologetically pursue just you,
Hmm.
just doing you and the things that you want to do in the way that you want to do them, because you have faith that future Candice will sort it out.
Hmm. Exactly. So are you someone that believes in fate or destiny, or are you a strictly free will kind of guy?
So, Mum is a Reiki master of like 15 years. So she is big into astrology and spirituality and stuff like that. I think I would class myself technically as the spiritual but not religious crowd, which is massively growing at the moment. I tend, in terms of fate, I tend to believe that I always make things work. I I'm hesitant to put the things that happen in my life up to a higher power or to anything else because I know how many times things go wrong and I've still managed to make it go okay. So a lot of the time, what people may say is, I left this last job of mine, but everything worked out in the end. So leaving that job or that job, me being fired from that job, it was meant to be. Because
Hmm.
if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Hmm.
To me, one of the problems that I have with that is it takes away the agency that you have of how hard you worked and how well it was that you were the reason that this went well.
Hmm.
Let's flip that situation on its head and say that it wasn't fate that did it, but it was you.
Hmm.
The alternative is not only did I lose my job, but I made all of this good shit happen and look at where I am now. All of this pride that I have in myself. So I don't know, and really I don't really care or mind whether it is predetermined for me. But there is some sort of string that I'm following through life, like walking back through the Minotaur's maze type thing. I don't really mind if it is that, or if it is complete locus of control, personal sovereignty, and upward agency.
Hmm.
I don't really mind which one of those two it is. What I value is the ability to make my own choices and to go take my life in a way that I want it to go. And if I'm either pushing it forward or if I'm being pulled from the front, I don't really mind which one of those two it is. I just want to always get the outcome that I desire.